Here I am in bright and sunny downtown Tucson. I've got just a little bit of time before my tours kick off, and I thought I would come to somewhere more authentic than the McDonald's and the In-N-Out burgers en route from the airport to downtown. I did see plenty of cacti on the way and some palm trees, and I'm already getting the feel of the Tucson sun. It isn't hot, but it is very direct. So I will be putting sunscreen on this scalp this week. Looking forward to a very fine week of tours. Okay, we're doing it. Just completed my first tour, and it's of the Marriott Tucson University Park. It is a downtown hotel, although it's not in the center of downtown. You can see downtown from the hotel. This is much closer to the University of Arizona. In fact, the closest hotel to campus, and normally very, very busy with campus-associated groups. Today, I picked a pretty slow day to come see the hotel, but it's an atrium-style hotel, as you can see. Reminiscent of Embassy Suites, but I promise you it was built as a Marriott. These are not suites. All the meeting space is over my shoulder here on the first floor. Mid-scale, not luxury. Very basic, but clean, comfortable, and renovated just before the pandemic, so still feels pretty new. And just a few blocks away from the Marriott is, over my shoulder, the University of Arizona. So this is a really, really thriving neighborhood. You can see a bunch of restaurants over my shoulder, which makes the Marriott an appealing hotel for government groups that don't necessarily provide food and beverage for their customers. There's plenty that groups can walk to and enjoy all that downtown Tucson has to offer. Speaking of which, I had lunch today at the oldest Mexican restaurant in the country. Didn't even know it. Okay, just wrapped up site tour number 2 here in Tucson. This is the Doubletree Reed Park, so named because it is adjacent to Reed Park. There's also the Reed Park Zoo here in Tucson, which is fun and popular. This is a mid-scale, very government-friendly hotel that has a little more of a campus feel. There's a tower, and then there's also rooms that surround the pool. The meeting room, the grand ballroom here, actually is accessed from the outside. That may be a deterrent if it never rains in Tucson. That's not a deterrent. One of the best things about the Doubletree is they give people like me a big canister of Doubletree cookies, which for me is like a lifetime supply of them, but nevertheless, they are yummy. Thanks. Oh, hey there. You know, sometimes site tours don't exactly work out the way they were supposed to. For example, I am here now at the Hilton Tucson East. This is about as east as I'm going to get in Tucson. First of all, the Doubletree was about 15 minutes or 10 minutes east of downtown, and then this was another 10 or 15 minutes east of that. So we're out in kind of suburban Tucson now. It's a lovely conference facility. Unfortunately, my contact fell ill, so she could not meet with me today, and I didn't get to see a guest room. But I did get to see some function space, and the hotel looked very clean and comfortable. Looked like it had been updated recently. But like I said, this one's a little bit out there. You can't really walk too much, but you do have some beautiful mountains in the distance there. And so it's an option as long as folks have cars. There's abundant free parking. That's not an issue, but really a little bit on the not quite a beautiful resort in the remote desert, but also not really an urban property. I mean, this is a pretty drive. Getting prettier. And it just keeps getting prettier. And now concluding the evening at the Westin La Paloma Resort. It's the first resort that I'm seeing here in Tucson, but tomorrow I'll see a number of additional resorts. This was a great first resort to start with. There are some incredible vistas. Unfortunately, you can't exactly see them now as night has fallen. And night falls a little early here in Tucson, I must admit. But you can see some of the beautiful pools. There's some incredible vistas. Beautiful meeting spaces with windows, lots of terraces, lots of places to have semi-private or private receptions. And it's a Westin, so it's very comfortable. I am very much looking forward to the Westin Heavenly Bed tonight, but I am also looking forward to driving that direction about 30 minutes to do some stargazing. Wish me luck. All right, well, we're at about 4,000 feet of elevation. I have just finished taking pictures at a scenic overlook, and I got some pretty cool nighttime shots of Tucson as well as some shots of the stars. But I wanted to head up a little further into the mountain to see if I could find an even darker spot to just gaze. So let's give it a shot. Do you hear that? Serenity. Beautiful. I'm waking up here at the Westin La Paloma Resort to wonderful, wonderful sounds of wildlife, to beautiful vistas of cacti and mountains. I slept well, albeit I woke up in the 4s. But that's what happens when you're on the West Coast. My heavenly bed was indeed heavenly, and I'm ready to begin a day of touring resorts in Tucson. Well, you can't tell, but I am just leaving now the Lowe's Ventana Canyon Resort. You'll see it over my shoulder there. This hotel does an exceptional job of blending in with the mountain and desert surroundings. Gorgeous facility, beautiful landscaping, attractive meeting space. It is an upper upscale hotel. Really, really impressed by their grounds though. They've got on-site golf, tennis, pickleball, beautiful resort pool. And fine dining. Really good option, not necessarily the most affordable option, and it is a little more remote, but if you're looking for something really, really serene and retreat-like, a really, really stunning choice. Well, okay, we are coming now live from the Westward Look Resort. It is now a Wyndham Grand Resort, but it's been Westward Look forever. It's an historic property, a historic resort in the middle of the desert. And so what that means is you've got all these great little buildings, these casitas, these cottages, which are meeting spaces and also guest rooms. Of course, the magnificent view of the mountain and you hear the birds and all the other wildlife around. Again, very tranquil. It is not a luxury resort. It is very approachable, very affordable, and it has that campus feel. So if you like the idea of multiple buildings, multiple venues on site to make it more of a retreat-like environment, then this is a nice choice for you. And good afternoon. It's starting to get warm for sure, but breezy, so very, very tolerable here in Tucson. I am at the famous El Conquistador, which is a Hilton resort here in Tucson. It is actually, I believe, the oldest, the Wyndham notwithstanding, the oldest resort. It was built in 1982. A lot of these resorts were built in the mid-80s. This was probably one of the first sort of mega resorts in the area to attract meetings and conferences as well as leisure traffic. It's still very, very nice. It's been continuously awarded the Four Diamond Award for 40 straight years, so very, very impressive. But I would call it mid-scale. It's not luxury, but it's very, very nice. I'm a fan of Hilton Resorts, of course, having been in Cancun's all-inclusive last week. But nevertheless, it shows very nicely. It smells very nice, and I had lunch here today. Now, just wrapping up site tour number 8 here in Tucson at the Omni National Resort, and it's the Tucson National Golf Course. It's actually 2 golf courses for which this hotel is named. The golf courses were here first, and then the resort came, and the resort has just been refreshed, all the meeting space and all the guest rooms. Really nice guest room product here. This is probably the smallest hotel that I'm going to see, and even though it's set on a ton of acreage and 2 golf courses, there's only 130 or so guest rooms. So a small group here could be made to feel really, really special. Ooh, look, red cardinal. So many nice sounds, so many nice tranquil vibes here. And of course, you're never too far from mountains. Most all of the resorts that we've seen today have been in the north part of Tucson. Some of the bigger mountains are in the north. We are now headed west. This is the first time we're going to be west in Tucson. You can see the mountains are not quite as high, but there's a lot more bumps. And we're headed to the JW Marriott Star Pass. All right, just concluding a late in the day tour here at the lovely JW Marriott Star Pass in Tucson, Arizona. This is the largest resort in Tucson. It's got nearly 100,000 square feet of meeting space. And it's one of the newer ones too, actually, if you can believe it, built in 2005. I also found it to be the busiest. You can see a lot of hustle and bustle over here at their dining establishments. Everything was busy. Convention space was busy, spa was busy, poolside busy. But this one, unlike the other ones, is nestled into the western side of the city. So these mountains are much more infiltrated into the resort itself. You feel a little bit closer to them. And although I'm not staying here tonight, I imagine that looking out in this direction, you can see some pretty incredible stars. That's it from the JW Marriott Star Pass. This is just a rural side street just outside of Tucson. I'm headed up to Saguaro National Park today. People live on this street. This is pretty interesting. Currently driving through Tucson Mountain Park en route to the Sonora Desert Museum. It's taken me way longer than it should to get to this museum because I feel inclined to pull over every 30 feet because there's this all around you. I mean, I just feel like it's not everyone's kind of beauty, but I think it is crazy beautiful out here. All right, this is me in my desert attire. Got plenty of sunscreen on, got water, got my dad camera. Of course, I've got a hat. And I'm walking in an area of the Sonora Desert Museum they call the Desert Trail. It's about a half-an-hour loop trail that gives you a feeling for what it would be like in the desert, complete with javelina. I did see one javelina so far. I guess what makes this a little bit different from walking in the desert is that you're not exactly alone. There are plenty of people here touring today. It is bright and sunny. It is tolerably cool at about 78 degrees, but I'm sure I can get fried to a crisp if I'm out here too long. But I am just loving these vistas. There are some live animals in this park, and there's also a bunch of little statuettes. And then sometimes you're not so sure, like this. That statuette seems to be moving. What kind of lizard is that? Okay, I'll be leaving Tucson Mountain Park now, and I'll be headed into Saguaro National Park. Apart from the occasional motorcycle or car, the serenity of these mountains is pretty special. Entering Saguaro National Park, and you do not have to go very far to find them. And now we are inside the national park. Roads are a little less paved. Feels very authentic. I am headed to the Valley View Overlook Trail. Very excited about what I'll get to see. Honestly, it feels like a different planet over here. No people, just cactuses. Crazy sunshine. Told I have just about reached the destination. This is Valley View Overlook at Saguaro National Park. This is a cactus right near my knee. Breathe it all in.